Hey guys, this is Mériem from The Skin Deep. I just want to talk to you very quickly about our Patreon page, just right here. We really believe in the work that we do, and if you do too, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Enjoy!
When do you feel closest to me?
When we snuggle, and I put
Yes.
and I put my head on your, your left shoulder. I feel like I've been doing that since I was a little kid. I mean, I slept in your bed till I was 11. I think that's like attachment parenting at its at its highest point. Yeah. What have you learned from me that has changed you?
Oh, so much. I have learned the pleasures of life from you, quite honestly. There has been such joy. Oh, it just brings me, there really has been. It was just so wonderful. I feel so fortunate that I was gifted you, and I just think I'm the luckiest person. It's always been magic, and it has just expanded me so much. It's just made me such a better, more interesting, more interested person, vastly more interested. In my curiosity is just exponentially has exponentially increased. And that's very exciting. When was the last time I disappointed you, and how do you feel about it now?
Oh God.
Which time?
Like really, really disappointed me.
Well, whatever.
I don't know how serious we're going. Last fall, when I don't think I was so much disappointed.
Really?
I think I was disappointed when I didn't hear from you for like 5 days.
Oh.
And I knew it was happening, and then you were in the hospital.
Oh.
Because you'd been sober for like 8 months. And so I sort of felt comfortable, like, oh, we're back on track.
Yeah.
And then I remember being so stressed out that whole week, like it was midterms, and I was in classes. And I never felt like the weight of being an only child really before, or not having any other family members. But when I had to deal with all the hospital stuff, like, oh, do you think your mom's gonna kill herself? I don't fucking know. Like, ask her. And we were talking on the phone, and you're like, get me out of here. Like, this is the loony bin. Yeah. And I was like, I'm trying. Yeah. And to have like 60-year-old doctors like looking to me for guidance. Yeah. I was disappointed, I think. But I also understand, like I understand you as a whole person. Like I wouldn't look at that situation and say, oh, I'm disappointed. She fucked up. She did that intentionally. Oh, because I understand that it's a disease.
Well, it goes back to another question that we had here, something about your comments about not expressing my feelings.
Right. See, I had no...
That was exactly the outcome.
And I remember calling you because I was in Philly for that festival, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And I called you, and I could tell, I can tell
off,
when stuff is off on the phone, and you just started crying, and you were like, I can't do this. And it was so vulnerable. And I appreciated it because I would rather have you call me and say like, oh my God, I want to drink right now, or I can't do this right now, or I'm getting overwhelmed right now, then like radio silence, and 5 days later, like I want to kill myself. That's really scary. Yeah. It's really, like my whole like life flashed before my eyes, I think.
Yeah, that was a really tough time. It was dicey.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, it was not a good autumn.
Not a good autumn, in a lot of respects. What was the hardest thing for you when you were my age?
Oh.
I feel like I've asked you this before.
Yeah. I was very lost. I mean, I was thrown into the world not having any...
More lost than I feel.
Yeah, a lot. I had no skills. I had no life skills. Somehow I didn't know that people lied to you or manipulated you, so I was sort of this prey.
You've told me this before.
Yes, yeah. I was a prey for people, and just because I just had, I don't know, I grew up in a cave.
For men or for anyone?
I think more so for men, but there were women in the mix as well. I just didn't, somehow that was not part of my DNA. I had no experience with how to ask questions or how to express feelings.
What age do you feel like you started to find your way?
Probably in my 30s. They were great. I had a good run.
Really?
Yeah, that was really fun. I'm having a good run. But it took a long time to move away from my upbringing. It took a long time. I mean, it was really as though it was a matter of rebuilding myself.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's such a beautiful thing, though, to be able to reinvent yourself.
Yeah, it's.
I feel like I don't have the capacity for that. I worry that I don't have the capacity to do that.
You do when you have to. I'm compelled to. I mean, I'm doing it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
That we can still rewire our brains, even at this advanced stage. What is the pain in me you'd like to heal?
I think your family and not feeling supported by your family. And I always feel like, and I know I talk to you a lot about this, and it's sort of like a broad concept, but I think it's really incredible that you could sort of create the life that you didn't have when you were younger. Like, you created me and I became what you needed when you were a kid that you never had.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always hope that our relationship healed that what you didn't have as a kid, I gave back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I did that, but that's what I...
Well, it gave me the opportunity to pass on, to give to you, to give gifts to you that I didn't have. Mm-hmm. That was really meaningful to me.
Mm-hmm.
Kindnesses, parenting, holding your hand. Yeah, all those things were very important to me. Yeah.
Would you have rather had both experiences, or do you think it would have not gone the same way it did?
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. It just was, it is what, I'm definitely at the point of just accepting that and working off of it. Of the, that's the floor. Those are the bones. That's the scaffolding, the basic infrastructure, and how to create a sort of like a vertical garden off of that life that I had.
Off of your pain.
Yeah, off of my pain. Yeah, and it's really like thinking of it like a vertical garden. Where do you feel I misunderstood you, and why do you think I do? I like that.
I feel like you get me in a lot of ways. I think my emotions are where sometimes you don't always value them, and I know we've talked about this before, but like the panic attacks in bathrooms, and that was really not like...
That's gonna need some rewiring.
Like, imagine being a kid and you're in a fucking bathroom and you're just so overwhelmed with shame and embarrassment, and you're taking care of a 50-year-old, and everyone in the room is pitying you because your parents drunk at the party, or you can't pay the fucking taxi cab. Do you remember that?
I remember that episode, yeah.
And the man was screaming at me, and I didn't know where your wallet was. I didn't know how to pay the taxi cab.
Yeah.
And that was traumatic, even if you don't always understand how much gravity.
Yeah, because you have no control as a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do understand that. That was a terrible situation. What's hard is that there's nothing I can do about that now.
No, there isn't, but we work on putting out, I think, more good memories than there are bad memories.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
What are you hesitant to tell me?
Oh, I think there are certainly things about my past that I'm hesitant to talk about. That you, and I suspect you pick up on them, my reticence. Yeah, I don't talk about, I mean, and having lived as long as I have now, I certainly have regrets, and I don't think I talk with you about them. Oh, I have lots of regrets. if I woulda, coulda, shoulda sort of things, but I couldn't.
Like career, personal?
I think personal, in terms of coming out of such a train wreck of a home life. There was this enormous challenge, so I got derailed a lot, or found myself in situations that, knowing what I know today, I would never approach those people or those experiences. So that's what I think. That's really what I'm reticent about. Sharing the really gritty, nasty stuff you don't know about.
Oh God, will you ever tell me?
I will. I think at some point I will, sure. It's not as though I'm trying to keep a secret. I'm just being selective and tentative. You know, it's like when you're a kid, there's so much you only want to tell. You only tell your kid as much as they really ask. That's the way I approach it. So you'll ask someday and I'll tell.
But I feel like I've asked.
Yes, and I think I'm aware that you do pick up on it. And then you go, okay, I think that's as far as she's going to go right now, so I'll just stop. Oh, what do you see in me that I don't see in myself?
I'm going to cry when I was crying. I feel like you're so strong. Like,
oh, you can.
I think about the things that you've encountered. I really can't imagine raising a child alone. Like, that also scares me. I think that's part of it. Because I can't imagine why someone would leave their child. Like, I can't imagine doing what you do. I don't think I could do it.
Oh. It was a pleasure.
It all worked out in the end.
Oh yeah, but it even worked out while it was going on for the except for being drunk for several years. Oops.
At some point, you have to laugh at it.
Yeah, I think a sense of
or
humor
else
is
life
important.
gets really too depressing.
It could be pretty good otherwise.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you love most about me? Come on with these love questions.
I know I said this for how I'm really proud of you for this, but just being such a strong woman.
Wow. We never talk about these things in this way, with this language.
I know exactly the first thing that came to mind when we were walking down the street today, and there's literally a oil truck. What is it? No, a cement truck.
Oh yes.
Barreling down the street, and you're like, "Fuck you! I'm not gonna move."
Oh, I think so rude.
I think you own your space as a woman a lot, and that's what I've always admired about you, is that you don't really give a fuck. Like, you really don't. I think you've lost actually more fucks as you've gotten older.
I think I have too.
Like,
isn't it wonderful?
It's wonderful, and I feel like it rubs off on me.
Yeah, I can.
And I love that. I love that so much about you.
We also have embedded in both of us now a sense of humor and.
Well, yeah. Well, we were off there for a second.
We were off there for a second, but the world of the absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, that always, I think, brings us back to our center of life is absurd.
Hey guys, I'm really hoping you enjoyed that. Listen, if you'd like to see more from The Skin Deep, support us at our Patreon here. If you want to keep watching, we got a link right there.